I was having a good day until I saw that NBC was trying to conflate the alt-right and Gamergate. Now I remember a video I did called Not Everyone is Far Right, and another one I did called Stop Afflating the Alt-Right. Essentially, my views on the alt-right as a whole are about the same as they are with Antifa when it all boils down to ideology, and the reality that a majority of their policies and thought patterns are based on identity politics. But alas, despite all the cries from anyone with a stable mind seeming to be unavailing, we're left with a situation where anyone that steps on the wrong toes or loses count in the dance when it comes to politics is deemed alt-right, as though there is only two sides, as though there is no other situation or no other political beliefs other than either leftism or alt-rightism. No, there's absolutely nothing in the middle at all. Nothing. Nope. There's no middle ground. Doesn't exist. I'm fucking joking, obviously. But anyway, I'm rambling. On to the video.
Before white supremacists, neo-Nazis, and white nationalists marched in Charlottesville, Virginia in August, they were organizing behind a computer screen.
Have you met a gamer? I mean, outside of your bubble. Have you talked to gamers? Have you even had a peripheral encounter with one that lasted long enough for you to debate politics? Here's the thing with conflating this kind of shit. Aside from the fact that you have no evidence, citation fucking needed, you're dealing with a large group of people that differ in not only opinion, but age, ethnicity, sexuality, religion, moral standpoints, and a cavalcade of other fucking issues. I mean, look at all of these gamers. Look at them. I'm sure every single one of them has a Klansman robe in their closet, and every Sunday they go and burn a cross on some random person of color's lawn. Hell, it might even be their own parents by the looks of some of them. But, in other words, you cunts should be humping gamers' legs for their diversity. But wait, this shit gets even fucking better.
And a lot of that organizing happened through a messaging service called Discord, which was originally created to connect video game players to one another. This is just the latest in the long-running shared history between the gaming community and the alt-right.
No, it's still used by gamers to connect with one another. It didn't just magically switch into an alt-right bastion of fucking conversation overnight. It didn't happen. Are there members of the alt-right on it? Sure, why the fuck not? Are there members of the alt-left? Fucking probably. The reality is, just because a few people use the service doesn't mean the whole service is bad. And once again, we're going off of pure conjecture here because you have yet to show any fucking facts on the matter. But who am I kidding? When it comes to the Nazis and the alt-right, you don't need proof. You have the moral high ground. Except you fucking don't. You're just like the right was when they were policing video games. Have you not learned from the past? Now, I'll give you a little leeway and say maybe, just maybe, you show a stringent of evidence to back up all of these claims. However, that aside, let us continue this lamentable farce.
Culture has always been racist, it's always been sexist, but the internet has sort of allowed us to just sort of see what has always been there.
For those unaware, Emma Vossen is an undergrad at the University of Waterloo and takes part in a website known as First Person Scholar. Clever. I'll leave the link in the description, so if you feel like upping your dose of stupidity for the day, feel free to head over there. But the biggest thing I want to tear apart is the first thing you'll see when you Google her name, which I will be showing here, stating that she's examining how accessible games and gaming cultures are to women, going on to say she is specifically examining how comfortable women feel in the culture in general. So, here's the thing, Emma. You unbelievably vapid, unsavory, unfathomable fucking cunt. The best way to get accepted by a culture isn't by bashing the culture as a whole. You know, claiming they're all racist, misogynists. Are you not aware of why people get upset when you make blanket statements like that? Quite frankly, if I may, let me mansplain this to you. It's because they're all individuals with their own lives and their own struggles, and you don't get to tell them who and what they are. And the fact of the matter is, women have been accepted into gaming just fine. Might they receive a little harassment online? Sure, but here's a fucking newsflash for you, you fucking imbecile. So does everybody else. Am I saying that it's right? No, I'm saying sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never fucking hurt me. And here's another thing for you. How about you trot your smug little ass down to a local game store and get to know gamers instead of writing broad spectrum articles from the comfort of your fucking college campus? But wait for it. Wait for it. This is where Gamergate gets involved. As if the throngs on the opposite side of Gamergate didn't learn a fucking thing. But here we go.
Emma Vossen is a PhD candidate studying how sexism seeded in gaming is replicated in the real world. Her study is based on Gamergate, a movement that began with intimidating and harassing female video game journalists under the guise of fairness in video game journalism. The harassment quickly gained traction. It helped catalyze the alt-right movement, which secured power and prominence during the 2016 election cycle.
So they went from intimidating video game journalists to affecting an election. Well, that went from 0 to 100 in no fucking time whatsoever. The funniest thing I can see here is that you're attempting to make connections where there are none, and once again, not using any sources whatsoever. This is pure conjecture. You're throwing shit against the wall in the hopes that it'll stick in someone's heads that Gamergate equals the alt-right. Therefore, all gamers are alt-right. As for all the tweets you showed on the screen, here's a little fun fact, Princess. You can easily do that in Photoshop or other versions of freeware. It isn't that difficult to do, in fact. But let's ask a real question here. Was there or was there not dishonesty and unfair actions done by the gaming journalists? Let's look at Cuphead, for example. The, quote, journalist, end quote, failed miserably at the fucking tutorial. Once again, the link to the video of him doing that, as if you already haven't seen it, but I will link it in the description nonetheless. Then, when accused of not being able to report on games because he obviously sucks at them, the response was, how gamers fetishize skill. No. It's not a matter of fetishizing skill, it's just that we want the people that are reporting and doing, articles and whatnot on the thing that we hold so dear, we want that person to at least have a fundamental understanding and ability to actually function within that sphere. It's like a person that has never seen art, has never touched art. Or we'll go with a better example. How about cars? Are you going to ask a person that has never driven a vehicle before in their life to do a review on a fucking Ferrari? No. Of fucking course not. But anyway, Gamergate wasn't about harassing women. Did some of them harass women? Sure. But moving on from that, gamers have had their niche attacked for ages by self-righteous pricks, much like yourselves. And now we have the power of the internet to return fire and return the favor, so to speak. Utility we didn't have previously. And the gall of a person who walks into a crowd and points a finger at everyone, regardless of who they are as an actual person, and say, you're all this, this, and this, simply because you play video games. Now, am I saying that Gamergate had no hand in the 2016 election? No. Gamergate, in my personal opinion, was kind of a catalyst for a lot of the other shit that went down that brought a lot of the, quote, normies, end quote, into the election and normally wouldn't have gotten involved. In other words, you brought a bunch of people that normally didn't care about politics, and you forced them to defend the niche, much like the religious right did. You forced them to defend their hobby, and now you have what you have. Or, in other words, you cunts hit a wasp nest with a bat, and it stung you in the fucking ass. But anyway, we're not done here. This is only going to get worse, and I mean much worse. Trigger warning, you might get herpes.
According to Vossen, the gamers and the alt-right share common ground.
As people who are marginalized are fighting for equality, those who've traditionally had privilege, especially white men, feel that they are being oppressed by these people who are trying to just be treated as equal.
Why do you hate black people? African Americans.
They're dirty, they're stingy, and they're just gross.
Xbox Live and PlayStation Network both allow players to chat live while gaming. They have become havens for hate speech against women and minorities.
What I had noticed and witnessed was what I call like linguistic profiling, like just based on how somebody sounds. You know, they kind of lash out in like very like inappropriate ways.
Who votes for mission? They allow girls to play Call of Duty in America?
Wow, they allow morons to play Call of Duty in America?
Not everyone in the gaming community is sexist or racist. We are having this sort of internal cultural problem with sexist and racist gamers.
So, what happens when these behaviors move from the gaming world to the real world? Keegan Hanks studies the progression of the alt-right on the web.
Discord, as a platform, kind of had a meteoric rise in the alt-right. I think many of the members of the alt-right were actually aware of it because they were also members of the video game community. Many of them are. Discord became almost a requirement for a lot of these people if you wanted to be actively involved in the movement.
Discord is anonymous and lightly monitored, which allowed the alt-right to control communications and access for thousands of users. Some Discord servers controlled by alt-right leaders made users post pictures of their Caucasian skin in order to participate. This allowed the alt-right to centralize its message and disseminate information around the Charlottesville rallies. Discord service played a substantial role in fomenting the riots that led to the death of Heather Heyer. After facing pressure, Discord shut down the servers used to organize in Charlottesville. The company stated, "We will continue to take action against white supremacy, Nazi ideology, and all forms of hate."
And there it is. The final connecting dot you asshats can manage to pull off. I can just imagine your boards look like something out of a crazy conspiracy theorist basement. But then again, you have a little more weight on public opinion than the average loon, so I guess I shouldn't be so condescending. Who am I kidding? Of course I'm going to be a fucking cunt. Okay, here's the thing. Now bear with me, you tiny-minded individuals. Gamer plays games. Gamer also has a life outside of that. I know it's hard for you to wrap your tiny little head around, but try to keep up. After a while, a group of self-aggrandizing fuckwits decide they're going to take a few swings at one of their favorite hobbies, and these fuckwits just so happen to be feminists and SJWs, a majority of which have never looked at a game controller in their fucking collective lives. Never mind actually play them. And of course, you will hear the triggered rees about racial slurs being thrown around online, ignoring the fact entirely that most of the people that are outraged about this have no idea what the person on the other fucking side of the screen even looks like. They also maintain a heavy level of ignorance to the inner workings of some people's humor, outside of their heavily protected fortress of like-minded friends. These are the same people who get offended at a joke that involves race without realizing that people enjoy humor. Sometimes that humor happens to be a little on the darker side. But I guess I'm rambling, because I would say that, quite frankly, your ilk didn't stop at Gamergate. No. You couldn't just dip your toe and you had to dive right in, didn't you? You had to inject your virtuous seed of idiocy into literally everything. It's no longer what you are as a person. Everything that these people thrive on is based solely around identity. So as a little ending note to this tirade, I just want the mainstream media and ultra-lefties to know, and by extension, you SJWs and the rest of the gaming journalists that don't understand why Gamergate happened, that you lost in 2016. Using the same tactics again, you will lose in 2020. And no, it's not gamers. It's not the alt-right. It's not Nazis. It's not a ghost living in your mother's attic. It's not a ghost living in the basement of your parents' house that you also happen to be living in. No, it's the average American. You have become disjointed when becoming so sick of your shrill, whining, and perpetual victim status. America is sick of you policing our lives. Now kindly fuck off out the door and don't let the fucking door hit you in the ass on the way out. Anyway, that just about does it for this tirade before I have a massive fucking coronary. As always, if you feel so compelled, like and subscribe. And I will be back again to torture myself, because I am a masochist at heart. I'll be back to torture myself on Thursday. You glorious cunts have a wonderful afternoon, evening, and or night. Jesus fucking Christ, I need a drink.